Self-trust is one of the most underrated business skills you could ever have. We think we trust ourselves, but do we really? Somehow, when it comes to content, we are quick to judge and want other blueprints and frameworks that are available to us. I know I spent a very long time trying to find the perfect calendar, the perfect book that was going to make all the difference for this. And it's like we don't trust our own systems, we're quick to trust somebody else's, like it's the magic pill that we're after. And there's a strange feeling that sits beneath under all of this. It's like we feel we're being productive, that we have this ambition that others don't have, that they're just scrolling through their phones, whereas we're absorbing content that we're able to learn and apply. But in its design, it's often like it's always just out of reach. Like you can have the right courses or the right systems and everything in place, but somehow still feel behind. Or at least that has been my experience for the past 3 years. And there is something that I want to reveal about this, because searching for answers ultimately becomes the problem in why you spend so much time and money making content calendars and getting tips on what to actually post, or even wasting hours and hours to the point where you feel sick on the reels that give you content advice. There's a type of panic that starts to creep in. It's like, why am I not further along? Or why do I feel so behind already? Or what is everyone else's secret to having it? So you look for more answers, from Danco to Justin Welsh to Mosey's, for that magic pill that's going to make it all easier, with the playbooks and frameworks and routines that they all have in place that make the difference for them. But I want to be very clear that those tools are not the enemy. They definitely provide a starting point that without them I would feel very far behind. But the biggest thing that has held me back is trying to follow them perfectly. And somewhere in that pursuit of doing it properly, something else often creeps in: perfectionism. Now, perfectionism is the fear that learned to wear a suit. It's like it masquerades itself as optimization and just the supreme of what we aim for. But if you look closely, what you're trying to do is copy someone else so much that you lose your own direction. And when you're building a system and you blindly follow theirs without looking at your own, something tends to go quiet. We all have this internal compass within us, this instinct of telling you what actually matters. Well, that's the part of us that ends up falling away when we enter this perfectionism mindset, particularly around content. We lose our ability to see the 20% that's going to make the difference to your goals. And I go deeper into what the 20% mode is here, and I'll put a link into the description below. But you don't need more time. It's actually how to apply the 20% that makes all the difference. But when your internal compass is not working as it should, you lose the ability to filter your choices down to the 20% that actually matter. And that's what makes the difference, because one creates momentum, the other is like you're spinning your wheels but not really going anywhere. Perfectionism tends to conceal what is important, and it often masquerades itself as impressive in the choices, or even that they feel productive. But often when you look at what's happening and sit down creating content, often it's not our impressive choices or even the ones that feel productive. It often looks like sitting down and actually making content versus searching for more tools or systems to be able to do it. Like the tutorial hell that makes you feel sick, and looking at what resonated with your audience versus trying to really research to the point that you make yourself feel sick because you're not even in the ballpark of what actually resonates with what you create and what the audience wants to hear. Another time this filters is when you're pressing record and actually recording content instead of being in the background editing it constantly. So to understand why this feels so hard, you have to look at where we're taught to feel safe. What self-trust really is most of us grew up in these systems that were feeling like factories. We all know this, but they're designed for efficiency, predictability, and compliance. So the school system conditions us to feel safe inside this approval. Sit still, follow the rules, stay on track, and if you don't, your mistakes are clearly marked in red. But over time, we learn to live inside this approval. We get it right and we're told we're doing well. But then when the structure disappears, there's no bell or no teacher to inform us of correct from incorrect. This bit makes it a bit more challenging in life because we are left with our choices. Our choices are what really shapes everything else. So when you own a business, it's like one of the biggest endeavors you can have. It's like this massive personal development. You're not just building a brand or a project or a body of work. You end up unlearning the lifetime of external validation, the self-trust that is the ability to make your decisions without needing that permission. So it allows you to move without constant reassurance. It says you're allowed to be here at the table, no matter what. You are here to act and like you belong. And if life is just a game, then it says that you're allowed to be here. You're allowed to make the choices. It gives yourself that permission without requiring that approval. And we can look at life much like a game. You have to learn how to play the game because that's how you beat it. And what we need to understand here is that this game is not necessarily about confidence. It's about continuing to act, decide, and move forward without letting other or outside influence override your own judgment. So we talk about influence like it only lives on Instagram, but influence happens in your every single day. It's in your conversations, your interactions. It's like day to day. I had this with my beautiful sister recently where whatever I said next was going to empower her or disempower her. And I knew this because this is the influence that we hold every day. So I want you to think about that and really digest it, that every day we are in this ebb and flow of influence that affects our ability to move through and make decisions. And we have to make conscious choices to listen to the creators online that are brilliant and that empower us. But then on the flip side of this, there are some that are going to be disempowering. They sell to you what works for them, but you have to know what works for you. So when I look back at the vault of content that I had, I'm still confused by a lot of what's in there. There's information that I was consuming that, of course, it's not necessarily wrong or useless, but because it was missing that element of self-trust, I didn't filter it, and that influence didn't inform me. It kind of redirected where I was going. So what do you do about this? There are 3 things that actually change this for you. It's important to remember, number 1, your destination matters more than the other person's map. And number 2, a system only works when you make it your own. And 3, finish is the new perfect. That's so important, that one. But most creators fail because they think that they're changing where they're going. You cannot follow someone's 10-year vision when you're in your week 3. So keep building, keep adding to your digital legacy, because your business, your life, these are the tools and choices that you make, not the other way around. What you are doing is you're doing a digital legacy, and your business and your life all need to be at the forefront of your own choices. Those choices that serve you, not the other way around. Because this is a long game, and your week 3 does not get to look like someone else's year 10. And the more that you trust yourself, the clearer the road becomes. I'm Bianca Neilsen. Thank you for watching. Consider liking the video and subscribing.